McKenzie, and this is Eiffeling Eiffel, how the World's Columbian Exposition was a turning point for Chicago, America, and the world. Let's see what's in the news for this morning. Business. Great Scott, Chicago's done it! Oh, they got the World's Fair and I knew they would. We finally bested New York, Washington, and all those other big cities who will think they're better than us. They think they're America's city, but they are wrong! I, and us all in here in Chicago, we are America's city. And this is our chance to prove it. We've fallen into a bit of disarray, I'll admit, ever since the Great Fire in 1871. Well, this is our chance to reclaim our title as one of the most beautiful cities in America. I just know we can do it. Oh, where will we even start? I don't know, but I know I must be mayor for it. 5 terms, first in Chicago history, and the mayor to bring the World's Fair in. It'll be glorious! I can't even imagine the kind of ideas and inventions that'll be showcased here, but I can try. It'll be a melting pot, the likes of which America has never seen before, and I will be the one to figurehead it. We'll get men with electricity, light up the whole city. It'll be beautiful. We'll get the best architects in all of the land. God save all the investors who made this possible, and God save Chicago. Oh, gosh, get to work immediately. Mr. Harrison didn't know it at the time, but the fair would prove to be a major turning point for Chicago. With the White City, an image would be created for the city, an image of grace and refinement that many still see today. As it was said, since the fire in 1871, Chicago had been seen as the dirty, dingy city, the slaughterhouse of the world it was sometimes called. But this was a new moment for Chicago, and a new Chicago. The fair provided a glorious image of refinement and beauty that we still see today. This image eventually did spread to the rest of the country, but I suppose the director of works, Daniel Burnham, can tell you about that. Oh, Rude, my friend, my business partner. How I could use you now. This fair is killing me, Roots. I took this job as director of works only expecting the prestige it would bring to you and me and the firm. Not of the work it would entail. I was expecting you to do all the architecture and me to run the business like we always did. It was a glorious time. Well, certainly wasn't expecting you to die and leave me here all alone, working with this insane team of architects you insisted on assembling. They're never going to work together. They're feuding all the time. How do they expect me to get anything done? I don't know how they want me to do this insane deadlines. I haven't seen my family for more than a few moments and weeks. It's insane. But life, it is beautiful. The White City, they've been calling it. A great name for a great, great project. I wish you could see it, Roots. Marble buildings, roads as far as I can see, open parkways in the lagoon, beautiful, prestigious boats flying all around. It's more than you could ever imagine. And then the buildings, oh, the administration building with what huge dome, one of the largest in the world. And the manufacturers and liberal arts, a floor space of 15 acres, probably the biggest in the world, and certainly the biggest at the fair. And then the Midway route, I don't even know if you could picture. We've got Egyptian streets and streets from all these other different countries. Russia, just all the ethnicities displayed there along with games and amusements and the Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel is beautiful, Roots. When George Ferris first presented it to me, I didn't think it was possible. It's crazy. A wheel just sitting on a few pieces of metal, rotating around. But somehow he convinced me and we pulled it off. And this is what makes the fair. This huge wheel, it towers over the Eiffel Tower, and it puts us over the Exposition Universelle in Paris. We've truly out-Eiffelled Eiffel now. At this moment, we are better than them. Oh, it's all amazing, and I can't even contain my excitement sometimes. It's beautiful. We've been calling it the City Beautiful movement, away from the wheel, just in architecture. It's exactly what it says it is, beautifying the cities of America, trying to create the perfect city. And so far, I think we've been succeeding very well. We want large open spaces and just perfect beauty for our cities, but also productivity, making the most productive cities we can. And I think we're succeeding. Oh, Ruth, look at the time, look at the time. I must be back to work, my friend, but I know you're watching over me now. Burnham didn't know this, but his City Beautiful ideas would continue past the fair, into Chicago, and into the rest of the country. Examples of this style of city plan can still be seen in many major cities today, such as St. Louis, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Denver, Kansas City, any other city, and of course, Chicago. Burnham designed a few buildings in this style himself, such as the Flatiron Building in New York, the Chicago Symphony Center in Chicago, and Union Station in Washington, D.C. Along with this, he designed many city plans for a lot of the aforementioned cities. His 1912 plan of Chicago is still one of the most important works in city planning, used today to define how to construct the perfect city, which is what it was considered at the time. This movement can still be seen in so many cities. But that wasn't the only long-lasting effect of the affair. I'm sure the historian Henry Adams can tell you more about that. Ha! Paper, pencil, pen. From the desk of Henry Adams, December 23rd, 1983. Dear sirs, this is truly an amazing moment. As you know, I have been recently attending the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. It celebrates the 400th anniversary of Columbus's voyage to America. And I must say, it is wonderful. It is more than I could have ever imagined. So far, the fair is almost about to close, but it is a 27.5 million in attendance. And think, the population of our country is only around 60 million. I do not know how they pulled it off. And they're coming and they're experiencing by learning and by doing. It's more than I could ever imagine and more than I could ever think of. It has changed the way I think about so many things, and it has scared me too, the amount of innovation that America put forward. But we are unified now in this country, and that is one thing that is so hard to find in this day and age. But I can see why. With the inventions that are created here, I don't know how anybody could not feel pride in their country. For one, there's Mr. Mybridge. He's got a theater where you can go watch animated films. I don't know how he does it. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Motion pictures right up on the screen. And Mr. Gray, he's got a machine where you can write written text and then send it to another space, but in your handwriting in the exact same place. And Westinghouse, he uses Tesla's alternating current to light up the whole city. It truly is a white city. I don't know how you could ever picture anything else. It's just amazing. And there's so many other inventions and ideas, I don't even know how I can contain them all. But regardless, I feel this is setting an image and a theme for America over the next few decades. I'm not sure exactly what it'll be, but I like to think it'll be this image of refinement and beauty that Chicago holds so closely right now. It'll start right here in the White City, but then it'll spread. And eventually, this is what people will see of these United States. I mean, think of all the visitors. Buffalo Bill, Susan B. Anthony, Nikola Tesla, even Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand. They're all coming and they're seeing, and it's these people whom I then go and tell their tales, who will truly embody this image of Chicago. I must go now. The only way you can truly experience this is to come yourself. Sincerely, Henry Adams. The fair was a turning point for Chicago and architecture and the country. And the country, it was a turning point because it set this image, refinement and beauty and class, this image of the perfect city, productive and beautiful at once. And that's the image that America still holds today. It's hard to even imagine what it could be like for these visitors who've never seen many things such as electricity to come into the city, but they truly do.
But this wasn't just a turning point for Chicago, architecture, or the U.S. It was a turning point for the world. Every decision, product, and innovation made can still be traced today. And that is why this was one of the biggest turning points in U.S. history.